Welcome!
Hello!
Once again to another exciting adventure here on the Throne of Angel video blog. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Derek Osborne, joined today by
Jason Palmer.
Jason Palmer. Palmer, man, he's like excited. Super excited. So, today we are going to actually look at a couple of Palmer's forces. Why is that a thing? Well, it's a thing because Palmer has never played a miniatures game before.
That is true. I have not. I've played a bunch of board games, played a bunch of RPG stuff, painted a couple RPG models.
I have a dog that just came into the room.
Bye, Ashley!
Bye, Ashley.
But nothing on this scale.
Nothing on this scale. So RPGs, we did briefly play some Strahd here a few weeks ago.
Sure.
I dropped out of that campaign because my kid jumped into soccer and Dad's got to do sports ball stuff, things. So Palmer and I worked together and asked Palmer, I was like, hey Jason, you want to join me on the blog? The vlog? The vlog? The thing?
Sure, absolutely. Let's go.
All right. So I said, that means you got to play some miniature games. He said, which ones? I said, well, let's pick. So we sat down, busted out some criteria, and essentially established 6 different products that we are going to...
We were shooting for 4.
We ended up with 6. So, criteria number 1, game has to be currently supported.
Yep.
Criteria number 2, game has to have cool models.
Absolutely.
Criteria number 3, rules cannot suck. So,
and in the ever-evolving world of rules.
Whew. Yep, right. We may end up dropping 1 or 2 or all of them later.
We'll keep at least 1.
Well, yes, we will keep at least 1 because I own that one. So that was the default, right? Mercs was the default. Yep, we're doing Mercs because we are doing Mercs, and there's no arguing that. We broke it down into 3 categories: fantasy, sci-fi, and
weird shit.
Weird, yes,
yeah.
Other. We got basically alternate universe stuff. So for fantasy, we settled to start out with Age of Sigmar, right? You guys know that I typically don't cover Games Workshop stuff on this channel, but with Dominion and 3rd edition being released, we've got a couple of guys. We're starting a campaign, so A, might as well, and B, might as well.
Right.
Yep.
You see that his closet, it's full of stuff anyway.
The other fantasy game, Umbra Taurus. We did a little video on this last time. Some of you watched 3 minutes of it. Some of you watched the whole 12. But
it's a good 3 minutes.
I don't get 3 minutes. That first 3 minutes is just me talking. So with Umbra Taurus, obviously we are looking at essentially kind of an RPG-like miniatures game. Skirmish level. Palmer's got Orcs on order. Palmer's got a thing for Orcs.
I do.
I don't know why, but
they like to smash things.
Yes, and basically every single game we looked at, he's like, are there Orcs?
Yep, that's accurate. Yep.
So I told him no on a couple of them just on sheer, spite.
To be fair, there are Orc similarities in most of these games. You can find something that is 100% Orc, whether or not it's called an Orc. But I already had 2 of the 6, so it seemed like a reasonable request to not play Orcs in every game.
Yes, so Orcs in both fantasy games, Umbra Taurus and Age of Sigmar, you'll see Palmer running around with Orcs. In our weird games, obviously we are looking at the other side. You can see that right here. This is what I'm playing. I'm playing the Gibbering Horde. Mr. Palmer's order has not been pulled yet. He is going to play the King's Empire.
Yep.
So no Orcs.
Nope.
The next game that we have slated in our weird category is Wild West Exodus, which is down here. I've covered Wild West Exodus in the past. I really like it. The guys at War Cradle have done a good job of recovering that IP and expanding upon it, right? We've also got Wild or Lost World Exodus on the way, kind of in the works. We'll be exploring that. I will be playing Warrior Nation, Mr. Palmer.
The Union.
Into the Union. Yeah, that's right. That's right. He liked the Ulysses S. Grant concept. So he's going to...
It's got Abe Lincoln with an axe, too.
Vampire Hunter Lincoln. So we're going to be doing some of that on the sci-fi front. Obviously, there's a giant box of Necromunda in front of me, and then the Necromunda core rules right in front of it. I don't don't know exactly what I'm playing on that yet either. Palatine Enforcers, the Vansar, and Mr. Palmer, what, Orlocks?
Orlocks,
Yes.
It was Orlocks. As soon as I knew you were going to ask me what it was, completely forgot what it was.
Yep, so the thing is he's not playing Orc Locks.
Nope, Orlocks.
Playing
That's the closest I could get.
So, and then last but not least, on the Mechs, Mr. Palmer is going to play the USCR. I think he likes the Behemoth.
Big smashy boy.
Yeah, big smashy boy. I will probably run the EU or the ISS. Or anything else, because I have them all.
Yeah.
But that is a quick cover of what the hell we're talking about today. So we're going to look at Mr. Palmer's painted works. And I'll be honest with you, Mr. Palmer has painted more for Age of Sigmar than all the rest of us playing in this campaign combined.
Not very well, but they are done.
But they are done. And again, he's never played a miniature game before, so he jumped in with a gusto. Now, with that said, we'll talk a little bit about reasonings and choices in the overview, as well as kind of what's coming up for Mr. Palmer in the wrap. So, let's take a look at some models.
All right.
Dun, dun, dun. Hey, we're going to talk about Mechs first. Shocking, right?
Whoa! No way.
So, USCR, outside of the Behemoth, why did you pick these guys?
Well, I also like typically the Russian guys. Big, angry, stoic bear people.
So I want big, angry bear people. All right.
Basically.
Okay.
Also, let's see, this guy. The sniper.
Yep.
I like that his sniper rifle anchors people to the ground.
Anchors people to the ground. Yeah.
Stapled. Done.
Well, I'm not going to ruin anything for anybody. Okay, so we went with red, just straight up red. Is that big red machine like reasoning, or
basically, yeah.
Basically, yeah. So
also, I'm a novice painter, obviously.
Well,
so.
I was just going to say what we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, is we're looking at a guy who feels 100% inclined to play with a painted army. And he is, as he said, a novice painter. So when I started talking to Palmer, he was like, yeah, I got some paints. All right, sweet. What are they? I think they're folk art.
They are 100% folk art.
So they are 100% folk art. He picks them up at the local Joann's Fabrics. Now, there's not a huge miniature gaming club or store in the area.
And the one store we do have has like 8 pots.
8 pots, yep. So not a lot of options for Mr. Palmer to pick up, paints. As I moved everything off the camera. Look, it's Mechs. Oh my God!
Oh no!
They're all dead.
Not the Behemoth.
Not the Behemoth.
No.
So, essentially, Palmer is getting his feet wet, not only with miniature gaming, but also with miniature painting. So, some of the things that we're going to do in the future. We're going to do battle reports. Mm-hmm. Now, I have a very special, unique way I want to do battle reports. It's going to require some planning. Palmer and I have talked about this, and we still haven't quite ironed out all the details, but we're getting there. So, battle reports are going to happen. On top of that, we're probably going to sit down and do kind of some novice paint. What's the word I'm looking for?
Tutorials?
No, I don't want to call them tutorials, but basically, essentially, it's just me kind of helping you elevate your level of painting a little bit.
Tricks.
Yeah, that'll work.
101s.
Yeah. Painting 101 with Palmer and Oz. Perfect.
There you go. Name of a series.
Yep,
Let's go.
Name of a series. So we are going to revisit his USCR. Why? Because I have a lot of models, and we can literally take everything he has here. We're going to keep these. We're not going to repaint these. We're going to take a new set of USCR models and paint those, and then we're going to compare them. But we're going to do some painting with Palmer and Oz 101s before we actually revisit this. So we'll use other models to learn some base techniques and to establish a little bit more of of a baseline, what I would this is a great tabletop model. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from it. He's done some paint chipping here. He at least has got the visors painted correctly. His brush control is pretty good. There's not sloppy paint anywhere. So we've got a great foundation to build off of here. It's very cool. Now we're going to look at his Orcs, which he has taken a very unique approach at, and we haven't talked about it, so I'm going to ask him a few questions in regards to why he went the way he went with his Orcs. Now, let me swap those out really quick. Orcs. Yes, that's right. These are the glitter boys.
Mm-hmm. Wow!
So I bet you money he's going to do that regularly.
Probably.
When we're talking about Orcs.
Yep.
But most Orc players, Games Workshop Orc players do that. Anyways, nothing I'm not used to. Now, Palmer.
Yes.
What do we have here?
Orcs. Iron Jaws, mainly.
Iron Jaws.
Some Cruel Boys from the Dominion box.
And some Cruel Boys from the Dominion box. All right. Now, the Cruel Boys from the...
Bolt Boys?
Yep, Beast Skewers. Skewer the beasts. You only get 3 in the Dominion box?
Yep.
I haven't actually looked at the models in my Dominion box. I just opened it up and took out the rule book and started reading the rule book. So, 3 Skewer Boys, the boys with skewers. I like this one. In the box. All right, you have a rather unusual paint job going on here. Paint scheme. Sure. The schematic. So, fill me in. What's the deal with the crazy ass paint?
I mean, these are the Orcs of the Frozen Fist, all right?
Orcs of the Frozen Fist.
So I was reading up on some lore,
okay,
and apparently there was some shenanigans with some Beastclaw Raiders and Orcs at one point.
All right.
And the Beastclaw Raiders have the Everwinter that follows them.
They have the Everwinter.
The big nasty snowstorm, right?
Correct.
So these guys were originally all white, frozen, Lich King looking Orcs.
Okay. Lich King Orcs. I like Lich King Orcs.
Yep. And then the purple, I had a really cool purple that I wanted to use.
Okay.
So I used it. And they're all glittery because it's supposed to be, their armor's partially frozen. Right?
Frosted. Yep. All right. And these guys are what again? Orcs of the Frozen Fist?
Yep.
Orcs of the Frozen Fist. Okay. So again, like I said, I've never asked Jason why he painted his models this way. And quite honestly, with that story, it's fucking brilliant.
Now, obviously, I did switch to green. And some of them are based, some of them are not. The ones that are not based are the ones that you gave me.
Ah, okay. So one of the things that we should talk about is getting new players into the game. What does it take? Well, fuck, it takes models.
It does.
That's what it takes. So, Palmer, why did you avoid miniature gaming to start out with?
The amount required to get into it.
Required to get into it. Okay,
like
so
a start collecting box of Iron Jaws is $100, and it gets you 460 points.
460
it's not
points.
even enough to play a game.
Correct. So we're starting out at 600 points.
Yep.
So obviously we needed to get some more stuff.
Yep.
Now, there's 2 start collecting boxes here, quote, with the exception of 3 Gorg Runners.
And missing Gorg Runners, extra War Chanter.
Yeah, I don't know where my Gorg Runners went. I think they went to Maurice, if I remember right. I just gave him my entire Gorg Runners collection because I was building that Beastclaw Raiders force with basically the Orc. There was a battle scroll where you could have Orcs on Gorg Runners and a bunch of mounted Raiders, and I was building that as a concept army. And then I was like, I'm never going to put this thing together. So I got rid of the Gorg Runners. I still have the Beast Claw sitting over in the closet, but they're going to go away. However, the other box, or the rest of the box that I had, plus 1 War Chanter, went to Mr. Palmer. Mm-hmm. So I'm never going to use these, Palmer, to have them. Let's play some games. And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah, let's play some games. And he's like, okay. So, I resolved a little bit of the need to get a bunch of models. But how do you do that outside of just going down to your local GW store or your local hobby shop and going, man, I got to buy 2,000 points of models. Well, to start out with, the easiest way to do it, if there's something that you want to try out, right? If you're getting a new player involved and you want that person to try something out, if you have the models, share them. If not, right, plenty of Facebook groups out there where you can get used models. It's really easy. Yes, I know that doesn't support the local game store, but Palmer and I live in this little ass town without like an actual true game store, right? We've got to drive a half an hour to get to a game store, and then it only has a couple of tables. So playing at that game store is generally not what I would consider an option for us. If you guys are in an area to support a local game store, right, go in there. Some game stores actually have model buyback programs where you can get used models from the game store. But getting used models is a great way to start out with this, right? So Palmer had a getting started box for whatever reason. And what reason was that, Palmer?
I want a giveaway.
Okay, so he got essentially this entire army is free. So he won a giveaway, got himself a GSB. I gave him a GSB with an extra War Chanter minus the Gorg Runners. And he did actually buy the Dominion box. I know he bought the Dominion box, obviously, and he also bought the Big Bad Guy. This is actually one of my all-time favorite Games Workshop models. I freaking
sick.
Love this model. I have this model. Haven't painted it. Haven't put it together. Probably won't get around to it anytime soon, but it's one of those models that I have to have in my collection. Now, since I don't play the Orcs in the Underworld, what are these guys?
Morgrok's Crushes.
Yeah,
that is Morgrok.
The Crushers. And so why did you get these guys?
Brutes with personality.
Yeah. We're gonna start a new band in Orky color.
Yep.
Yeah. Brutes with personality.
Yeah.
Brutes with personality.
I really like the concept of the brutes, and they have a lot of synergy with the Mega Boss. But the standard brute models,
well, you don't like them?
I like them. I just like these ones more.
You like those ones more? Okay.
I like this guy. His club is chained in the middle so he can whip it around.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Right?
Yeah, it's pretty dope. Not gonna lie, but I you know me, I'm a big axe hammer kind of guy.
That's true. That's true.
This dude right here, even though he's got a freaking crab craw, he's still got hammer and effectively an axe. So axe and hammer guy in the brute layout.
For sure.
But yeah, I dig this. This is. What is that? It's not a Tetsubo. What is the Chinese weapon that is like this?
I don't know. It's similar to a Kanabo, but it's actually got, like, it's broken up in the middle and it's chained together, obviously, and it's got big spikes instead of studs, but that's the Japanese Oni weapon.
Japanese Oni weapon. Sorry, I've got Tetsuo stuck in my head for some reason, but it's fine. Anyways, we have the cult of the Frozen Fist. And now I'm afraid every time he puts these on the table, he's going to start singing Orcs with personality.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. I got a question, though.
Yes.
Are we looking at blood effects here?
Yes.
So we're looking at some blood splatter. Can't have Orcs without some blood?
Nope.
All right, cool. I dig it. I can get behind it. So as you can see, we still have some models that need to be based. Right? He started in on here on his
Crushes.
These guys actually come with the bases like that, right? Yeah, okay, so he hasn't done bases on the Crushers, hasn't done bases on, obviously, the models that I gave him. Still needs to finish putting together his Orcs from Dominion, I would assume.
They're all put together, they're just not painted.
All put together, just not painted. Yeah,
they are primed.
Palmer doesn't even want to show you people models that aren't painted. How freaking awesome is that? That's awesome. Where me, I would just put anything on the table. Hey, guess what? It's the halfway primed. Woo! Okay, so we got to break down the Palmer's Orcs. We got to break down the Palmer's USCR. As we start to get more models in, right? We've got Orcs coming for Umbra Tourists. We have King's Empire. Empire's Hand is that big, super stompy giant robot with mega guns. This is super.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So King's Empire coming for the other side. The
Union.
We have not looked. Well, I haven't looked for the Union yet.
No, I haven't either.
It's basically.
I haven't looked at Orlocks either.
No Union or Orlocks on the way yet. But everything else I have in the house for all of my things because I have problems. But I think we're done covering models for Palmer's foray into miniature gaming. Mr. Palmer, am I forgetting anything?
I don't think so. This is literally every model that I have.
Every model that he owns that's got paint on it.
Yes.
Yes, because he doesn't want to show you guys models without paint.
No, they're just primed black.
Where me, I don't care. I will totally show you models without paint. Don't care! All right. Well, with that, we've got models. We've got a plan. We have got tables in construction. We literally do have tables in construction. I made an announcement last night. I've got a project going with the guys over at Death Ray Designs. We are working on a modular set. Woo, there goes the camera. A modular set of terrain. This will be shown at Gen Con. But basically, it is awesome. We are building that right now, and a couple of other things, and a few other things, and some more stuff, which we will show you later, because
the list is endless.
It is endless, and I'm probably well past my 15 minutes on this video. So with that, let's go to the wrap. And the wrap! Mr. Palmer.
Sir.
What are you most excited about?
Well, I think Age of Sigmar, honestly. But Mechs is definitely up there, too.
Okay.
As you said,
you're not just saying that, are you?
No. This boy speaks to me. I love him.
He's got a big hammer.
He does. And big guns on his shoulders.
He plays a really big part in the story as well. Right? I mean, there's a whole invasion of the USCR that basically that guy holds off single-handedly, really, for the most part. So
true. Yeah,
he's a cornerstone to the game.
But Age of Sigmar, it just had the new box come out a couple months ago. It just had new battle tomes go up for pre-order, and one of them
happens to be Orcs. This is true. I ordered my Stormcast. So, as I said earlier, I'm supposed to be playing Chaos, but man, if those Dragon Stormcast hit sooner than later.
I don't think you've read any of that book yet. You're probably gonna play Stormcast. Let's be honest here.
It's fair. It's fair. So I may jump into that Stormcast side of things. I still obviously have got my Chaos in Wonderland project going on, and it's in literal full build over there on the desk. Got a million things going on and a million things happening. Speaking of, next week we'll be at Gen Con.
We are going to Gen Con, yes.
Yeah, so, going to be a bit of an odd Gen Con. Most of the large major companies are not going to be there. We've got a couple of booths that we have to functionally operate.
We're going to do our best with what we got.
I think so. I got a bunch of meetings that I have to do as usual. And aside from that, we're just going to eat some good food in Indianapolis. So we may pick up a few things if Games Workshop manages to get there. We might pick up some Age of Sigmar stuff, possibly. They may have some early releases. Don't hold your breath, but it's possible.
Right.
Myself personally, I'm actually looking forward to Necromunda.
Really?
Yeah. So I haven't played Necromunda for a long time, and when I say a long time, I'm talking like 20 years, right? I have both. The Dark Uprising and the original box set over here with Underhive. So I've got Underhive, I have Dark Uprising, I've got a bunch of other models. But when I played Necromunda a long time ago, a group of guys who now essentially are the Ordo Fanaticus group out in Portland, Oregon.
It's a big-time thing, isn't it?
They run
relatively.
They run a couple of events. There's about 400, 500 members. It's a club, basically. They run 2 major conventions a year where they have, it's called the Ordo Fanaticus Club Challenge, the OFCC, where people from Canada and Idaho and Southern Oregon all converge right in the Portland, Oregon area for 3 days of sweet gaming. But the guys that I played Blood Bowl and Necromunda with, we ran leagues month after month after month. We did it very regularly for 7 years-ish. Yeah, we actually started out as a Yahoo group, if you guys remember what those are. But I played Spires back then, so bottle tests were my bane. I'd lose one guy, take a bottle test, and essentially had a 50-50 chance of taking off. It was terrible.
Out the door.
But I love Necromunda. I always enjoyed it, and I think that's, outside of obviously getting more Mechs time in, what I'm looking forward to, right? So I will definitely say there's a huge difference between playing Mechs and playtesting Mechs.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
One of the things we didn't talk about, Palmer has also joined the development team on the Fifth Angel Studio side of the board, helping out with Mechs and a couple of other unnamed projects that we will announce, obviously, in the future. But I think as that is, Palmer's excited for Age of Sigmar. I'm excited for Necromunda. I think we're both actually excited for Umbra Tourist.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, I mean, Mercs obviously is Mercs. So, with that, we're looking obviously, I've said obviously twice now. I hate doing that. But, the other side, we'll look at that a little bit more in depth here in a few weeks. And then we have Wild West Exodus as well. So, on the schedule for next episode, I believe, is Merc's gameplay, correct?
I believe you are correct.
Yep, it's over there on the board. Merc's gameplay. It's on the board. It's on the board, people. Merc's gameplay. And then we're gonna go back to Project Modular Terrain. Haven't been there for a while. We'll update that and see if I've actually done anything with it for the last 2 years. So with that, thank you for joining us, Mr. Palmer.
Mr. Osborne.
Welcome to the Throne of Angels.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. We will see you all in 2.